welcome to Corinne's Picks, an art about remarkable artists and works of art. Today we have a very important show. We have an exploration of an exhibit called "The Black Woman is God," and we have the founder and curator of that exhibit, Karen Seneferu, with us today. Welcome to the show, Karen.
I really appreciate being here with you, Corinne.
This exhibit, for me, I can clearly state that it's one of the most important concepts that I've seen in art in my lifetime. And
Mm,
even though it's been going for a few years, um, the power of the exhibit isn't lost on me. I mean, it is
mm.
revolutionary.
Oh,
So tell
wow.
us a little bit about the exhibit and how it came to be.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate your words. I know the history of who you are in the art world and certainly in the Bay Area, being one of the first Black women to have a gallery here in the Bay Area. And so it means so much to hear you say those words. The Black Woman's God came about because of a conversation I was having with a co-curator who is now the executive director at the African American Art and Cultural Complex, Melora Green. We were having a conversation about Black women and how is it that they can rise above challenges and struggles and concerns in the world and make it appear so easy. And I said, well, you know why that is. The Black woman is God. And so she said, oh, that can be the name of an exhibition. And so, like prior to that conversation, she had requested, she and who is now the mayor of San Francisco, who was the executive director at the time at AAACC, Mayor London Breed, they had asked me individually to do a solo show. And this was back in 2012. And I didn't feel comfortable doing that. There were so many other Black women artists whose work I had been influenced by and whose work had really inspired me to create beyond claiming my body as a form of art. And so I thought it'd be much more interesting to have an exhibition with 18 Black visual artists whose work had inspired me in Ray Louise Hayward's collection of Black artists called The Art of Living Black. This is where I was first introduced to over 50 Black women artists that I didn't even know lived in the Bay Area, let alone created in that form. And so I wanted to create a space where I could include Black women artists together and show all the different ways that they create, whether it was painting or videos or installations or sculptures or performing art. And that's really how the Black Womanist Guide came about, really the desire for inclusion.
Thank you for mentioning Ray Louise Hayward. She's somebody who was dear to me and who I respected and who was a titan in the Bay Area art scene. I mean, a titan. So thank you for that. Also, um, for me, the exhibit really looks at identity in a way that I don't think we've been allowed to
Mhm.
have that platform, because I think people don't realize that even though there's a civil rights movement and there's racism and these all these things, they don't realize that Black women really have a different um, experience. Our self worth has been attacked. Our our beauty,
Mhm.
our aesthetic, our creativity has been called ghetto sometimes.
Mhm.
Our hairstyles have been under attack in terms of our creativity with geometric braids. And so
Mhm.
I think that the exhibit really is groundbreaking in so many areas.
Mhm. Thank you for that. Yes, certainly. What's developed out of the exhibition is not is the artwork is very important and is central and it's and it's important to showcase all the different ways that Black women create that falls within the framework of the institution, but the way in which Black women claim their bodies is very, very distinct. And it is not just simply a form of style, but a way of resisting annihilation. And so it's the claiming of our culture through the body that is really essential. So that for this exhibition, Black women, they really come out, they really dress up, they really embrace all the different African aesthetics that can be expressed in an artistic way in this exhibition. And so there's even a component of the first day of the reception where fashion becomes really essential to the way that Black women present themselves. But then there's also a procession every year at Soma Arts is where the exhibition has been existing for the last, or living for the last 5 years. We have a procession where we go around the corner and just kind of uh, 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 take over the space, and we do it in a way that can become signifiers to those who understand the representation that we make, but also pull in an audience that may not be familiar with it but recognize something of value that makes them drawn to what we're producing and what we're creating. So procession becomes a very important element of the exhibit. And then there's the performance, the various performances that happen, whether it's Black women playing string instruments like Tarika Lewis, the first woman to join the Black Panther Party, or Kuji Chakaleo plays who plays a trumpet and is also a poet, and then a group of Black women who play Congolese and Congolese drumming. It really showcases the wide range of creativity and cultural references that Black women have participated in the throughout the inception of the African diaspora.
Yeah, I think that I've seen some of the videos. I almost feel I really regret not asking you to send me some of those videos so that people can really get a feel for it. Because I've seen those processions, women dressed in all white. They're so beautiful. I mean, absolutely beautiful. You know, I'm just gonna have to hold myself together for the rest of this interview and let you talk and show the pictures because
Okay.
it is huge. I mean, it's way beyond some of the images that we see. I invite the viewers to go to the website and really participate. So can we see the first image? Maybe you can tell us a little bit about
Sure.
your selection of artists and then each individual piece.
Well, I really appreciate this artist. This artist I was first introduced to through Ray Louise's exhibition, The Art of Living Black, maybe about 10 or 15 years ago. And this is a Juan Mance. And a Juan Mance is a professor at Mills College, and she teaches African American history and art and English. And so that's one of the other elements that's really important about this exhibition, that a number of the artists in the exhibition are scholars. So they function in multiple fields and spaces, and really are negotiating these various spaces as a way of defining the Black female presence in it. And so this is a illustrated work that a one man has been working on, I believe, for like the last 4 or 5 years. She works in a number of mediums, and these images really celebrate not only the kind of spiritual representation of an elder in the first frame, but in the frames to the right, the top and the bottom, she's actually embracing and acknowledging Bay Area artists that are important to the contribution of Black women. And then in the frame that's to the left bottom frame, there's a collection of Black women who are embracing one another and claiming the importance of sisterhood in it. So with this particular exhibition is called The Black Woman is God, the Blueprint. And every year we have a different theme. This theme is focusing on what are the lessons that Black women are presenting to the community as an indication of how we can heal ourselves.
Can I have the next image, please?
This particular image is very important. As I said before, a number of the women are crossing, multiple spaces, both in the present and as well as in the past. This work is by Tarika Lewis. Tarika Lewis was the first female to join the Black Panther Party, and she is also a classically trained violinist, as well as a visual artist and works in multiple mediums. This year, she gave us an acrylic piece, and it's really looking at the ways that Black men on the continent used music as a creative and cultural reflection of the community, and the importance that that has to the growth of the society, and then how this particular representation has been disrupted through colonization. Here we have a similar image by Tarika Lewis. And again, some people might see this as a romantic representation. Tarika would argue that this is an indication of what was before colonization and what is possible if one understands one's cultural background. This young lady, let's see, I'm going to make sure I'm pronouncing her name properly. She's new to the Black Womanist God. She's a young artist. I'm really excited that we've had so many young women submit work that I haven't seen before, and it's very excited about having her work in the show. And this is Nima Gobir. And what she's doing is looking at what she's done in this piece. This is a piece is 36 by 32. And both of these images are capturing photographs of the family, looking at domestic images. Here is a painting of herself and her sister at home in her bedroom. And this piece, it's unfortunate that we can't see it up close, but this piece has a number of different elements to it. So it's oil. It's oil on canvas, but it also has stitching in it. There's gold leafing in it.
Oh, wow.
Gumar talks about, yeah,
Wow.
it's really quite a stunning piece. It has embroidery, and she talks about the stitching. It can become kind of a banal activity because you're repeating it over and over again. But she says it is because of that banality that uniqueness emerges out of each experience of the family, and it's that detail that creates the unity that's necessary for the family to stay together. And so, what's really interesting this year is how many pieces of work uh, uh, reveal how domestication is a really important element of keeping the family together and maintaining that need for comfort and compassion and love in order for the community to heal.
It's fantastic. So, we have to take a short break. I think we have some commercials, so we'll be back in I guess a minute or two.
All right.
Do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Welcome back to Corinne's Picks. We've been discussing a huge exhibition called "The Black Women Is God." It's in Som Arts in San Francisco, California, and we have with us Karen Seneferu, the founder and curator of that yearly exhibit. Welcome back, Karen.
Thank you so much, Corinne.
So we were going through some of the images and letting the audience have taste of some of the artists that you're exhibiting this year. So we can go back to some of the images, and then I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about the future of the exhibit.
Thank you so much. This work here is connected to a Cuban artist, an Afro-Latina sister in our exhibition named Damela Coutinho. And what's interesting, so there's a number of things I find really interesting about her work. I love her work. Last year, the Black Woman is God really decided that we were going to reach out and bring in Afro Latina sisters into the exhibition, because we understand that the African diaspora is huge, it's wide, and because we were working because we had to in some ways shut the exhibition down because of COVID last year, where we normally would have somewhere between 1,600 to 2,500 people come out to the exhibition. We didn't have a reception last year. This year we only had 100 people that participated in our private reception because of the new strain. And so last year really gave us an opportunity to reach out globally to artists across the diaspora. So we had artists from Africa and we had artists from Cuba that participated. And Diamela Coutinho was in the exhibition last year and also this year. And she lives here in the Bay Area. And this piece is really dedicated to one of the deities, one of the primary 13 deities of Yoruba, called Ogun. And on the other side of this wall is Tarika Lewis's work, and I really love the way in which Matt McKinley, who helps to place the artwork, put these two pieces together, which is that these pieces are dialoguing with each other. I see. The Ogun deity, of the main 13, of which there are, I believe, over 400 deities within the African diaspora across the continent, is the god of iron. So in the bowl below this deity like god figure, Ogun, the god of war, the god of iron. There are bullets. There's an iron nail, large iron nail, a shoehorn, and really is expressing the power and strength that Black women bring to the protection of the community and of the culture. A God figure within the African diaspora is both male and female. There's no one gender representation that expresses the God figures within the African practice. And so, what I find really powerful about these images is that Tarika Lewis is expressing the desire of a return, a desire of peace and tranquility in the building of the community. But this image is indicating that what Tarika Lewis had to do, how she had to become a warrior figure to even think about being at peace with the community, at peace with the culture. And so I find it very fascinating that these two artists are expressing the opposite coin of the God figures.
I think it's interesting. You talk about the tradition of warriorhood among Black women. We think of slavery and just bodies laying in slave ships, but we don't always realize that these people came from kingdoms and empires. And I always have a theory that some of the women on those ships might have been warriors in the Benin Empire or
Mm.
the Dahomey Empire,
Right.
where there was a tradition of warriorship. Because,
Yes.
being from the Caribbean myself, I noticed that in Cuba, Haiti, the Virgin Islands, a lot of the slave rebellions were started by African-born women. In Cuba, in Haiti, an African woman led it. In the Virgin Islands, there was a Ghanaian woman who led a revolution, which,
Yes.
the enslaved took the island over for 6 months, and it was only by accident that
Mhm.
the Danish was able to recapture the island in St. John.
Well, I
And that
think
was a
like
black woman.
I think you're hitting on something that's really important, and that's also a part of our project. So there's the reception where the community comes out, so a wide range of people that are really excited about the exhibition and they want to participate in it, they want to engage in it in a very spiritual way. The exhibition isn't simply an exhibition; it's a ceremony. Um, and Tarika Lewis has been really central to this exhibition. In our first meeting that we had about what we were going to do and what we're going to present, she said that the Black Power movement, the Black Panthers said, "We Black, now what?" And then, what is the Black woman is God going to say? How are they going to respond to that question? And so she has developed a genealogy workshop that she's been building on for the last 3 or 4 years. And Regina Calloway, who came into the exhibition, who's also doing genealogy work, she's her brother is Sway from Sway in the Morning. These two women have been, working on a project that's called Blood Consciousness. And so Tarika's been really essential in helping Todd, who is LL Cool J, discover who his blood relatives are through DNA, and also come to recognize that their lineage was connected to the first Black boxer in
Wow.
America
Wow.
called Yes, yes. So, and
Wow.
then having this long history, her father, Trika's father was a boxer. Trika's uncle was a boxer. LL Cool J loved boxing. He wrote a song called Mama Said Knock You Out. Turns out it was his grandfather who was saying that. So it's really powerful to make supposition about what we think the blood spirit is, and then being able to take that sacred saliva, that sacred spit, and then making a link, making a true link between what we suspect and what we know. And so there is something to that. Like, why do we make the certain kinds of decisions? Why is there this lineage of artists, or lineage of fighters, or lineage of spiritual healers? It's coming from something. And there's ways now that we can trace that connection, that blood consciousness connection, to the continent.
There was an image that was put up in the beginning of the three drummers.
Yeah.
And you said those were men, but I immediately thought of the women in ancient Ghana. I think it's Ghana or Benin, that would go into war with the men and play
Mhm.
instruments, drums, to
That's
rile them, to get them riled up, to get them strong,
right.
to give them strength.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what I thought of when I saw that image.
I think that certainly this the participating in the creativity, no matter no matter what it is, Black women have always been there, participating in the creation of the culture, of the of the creativity, of the language, of the arts. Black women have been central to that. It is only through this binary construct of Western culture, where what is central is white and male, that we have these divisions and separations, and what I call lost. But I also say what is lost can be found, what is buried can be discovered. And so the Black woman is God, one of its in important elements is presenting that discovery to the community, very specifically and in general to the society that comes and sees the exhibition.
So we have like 2 minutes left, but I want to be fair to the artists. I want to make sure all the artists' work is shown. Can I
Sure.
just quickly have
Yes.
like a flash of each one so that they get seen?
So one of our favorite artists, Nicole Dixon. This is a multimedia piece that's wood on there. She mixes graphite with charcoal and acrylic, and her work is all about recognizing beauty, healing from beauty, and connecting it to nature. So, that piece has multiple pieces. In the background there, in the middle piece, that sculpture, that was the only sculpture we had this year. That's Lorraine Bonner, one of my favorite visual artists, another artist that shaped me as a viewer, as an artist, as a founder of the project through the Art of Living Black. And in the far left corner there is Shona McDaniels, who also has created a museum in Sacramento called the Sojourner Truth Museum. But she's an incredible acrylic and oil artist, multimedia canvas work. Corinne Turner, again, of the Art of Living Black through Ray Louise Hayward. I think her work is very revolutionary. I think she disguises it through illustration, but the fact that she's always offering watermelon, which is one of the fruits that has been used as a tool of dehumanization within particularly white American culture. She reclaims this fruit and offers it back to us as a way of claiming ourselves as beautiful. This particular work, let me see here real quickly. This is also a new artist, and I love her work. Can we come back to her real quickly?
Okay.
I'm just forgetting her
Yeah, we have
name.
like 30 seconds left. Can I have the next image?
Okay. Oh, well, this is my work here. These pieces are 46 by 72. It's a series of about 11 of these, and I was moving away from illustration work and moving away from figurative work to abstraction, and really saying that circles represent our ancestors.
So, unfortunately, we've run out of time. We're gonna have to like do this again. There's so much I want to
Love
talk
to.
about in terms of this exhibit. Um, Thank you so much for being on the show, and let's do a part 2 sometime.
Oh, I look forward to it. I would love to invite the Ayana Ivory. Sorry, Ayana Ivory and Idris Hassan, because they have been my left and right arm. The Black Women's Guide wouldn't exist without the hard work of them, and I would love to have them participate in it as well.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you too, Corinne.